For a few years, this man was the biggest star combat sports had ever seen. Not just a champion, a phenomenon. He talked his way into $200 million paydays. He boxed Floyd Mayweather. He held 2 world titles at the same time. He printed money every time he opened his mouth. And then he vanished. For almost 5 years, Conor McGregor barely fought at all. The biggest name in the sport, gone. So where did he go? Because the real answer is not one thing. It is a fall, a rebuild, and a comeback. And by the end of this, you will understand exactly what happened to Conor McGregor and why he is back now. To understand the disappearance, you have to understand how high he was flying first. Conor McGregor did not just win. He arrived like a hurricane. He called his shots round and minute and then delivered. He knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds, ending one of the longest title reigns in the sport. He became the first fighter ever to hold 2 UFC titles in 2 divisions at the same time. Then he did something nobody thought possible. He crossed over and boxed the greatest boxer of his generation, and got paid like a king to do it. At his peak, Conor was not a fighter. He was an industry. But here is the thing about flying that high. The fall is just as dramatic. The first crack came in the cage. In a trilogy fight with Dustin Poirier, in front of the whole world, Conor threw a punch, stepped back, and his leg simply snapped. A clean break, live on television. The fight was over before it really began, and that injury was the start of the disappearance. Because a broken leg for a striker whose entire game is built on movement and kicks is not a small thing. It is surgery, it is metal, and it is a long, brutal road back. Most people underestimate how long that road really is. Rebuilding a leg to the point where you can trust it under the lights, against another elite fighter trying to take your head off, takes far more than a few months. It takes years. But if we are honest, the leg was only part of the story. Because while Conor was healing, something else happened. The hunger got complicated. Think about it. He had already made more money than almost any fighter in history. He built a whiskey brand and sold most of it for hundreds of millions. He moved into movies, into business, into a life most fighters can only dream of, and that is the quiet danger of success. When you have already won the money, the yachts, the fame, the thing that made you dangerous in the first place, that desperate, obsessive hunger, it can fade. Why go back into a cage to get punched in the face when you have already got everything the cage was supposed to buy you? Then came the part nobody likes to talk about, the controversies. Off the octagon, Conor spent those years in and out of headlines for all the wrong reasons. Legal battles, incidents, a civil case that hung over him. Every one of those stories pulled him further from the one place he built his name, the fight itself. And there was one more wall, a boring one, but a real one. To come back and fight, a returning champion has to re-enter the anti-doping testing pool and clear a required window before they are even allowed to compete. That process alone can eat up months, sometimes longer. So even when Conor said he was ready, the system itself kept the door shut a little longer. So stack it all up, a snapped leg and years of rehab, a hunger dulled by more money than he could spend, a storm of controversy, and a testing system holding the gate. That is how the biggest star in the sport disappears in plain sight. Not one reason, all of them at once. Which brings us to the question everyone is actually asking. Why is he back now? Because the one thing all that money could never buy him is the one thing that pulled him back: legacy. Money fades from the headlines, records do not. And Conor McGregor knows that history will not remember the whiskey deal or the movie roles. It will remember whether he walked away a fighter or a businessman who used to fight. Coming back against a killer like Max Holloway is not a safe way to protect a legacy. It is a statement. It says the fighter is still in there, that the hunger buried under all that success is not completely gone. And that is the real lesson hidden in Conor's disappearance. A champion does not usually vanish because he loses his skill. He vanishes because he wins everything the sport was supposed to give him, and then has to decide if he still wants the only thing it cannot, which is greatness. So Conor McGregor was never really gone. He was broken, distracted, rich, and cornered by his own success. The comeback is not about the money. He has that. It is about answering the only question that ever mattered to a fighter like him. Am I still the man who did all of this? Whatever happens when that cage door closes, that question is why he is back. And it is why the whole world is watching again. If you want more deep dives on the biggest stories in sport, subscribe to The Arena. Tell me in the comments, do you think Conor still has it? And I will see you in the next one.